Hello, I'm Danny Davis. I want to talk today about the other side, the spirit world as you call it, and explain some of its workings and things that I've experienced in it, and it should be very interesting. To start with, they call it the other side, and there's really no other side. If you want to call it that world, realize you're already in it. You live in it right now. Your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, all of the stuff that goes on inside you is already on that side. You live there right now. All your life is actually on that other side. Three-dimensional world comes into your physical body, and the five senses in the physical body deal with those dimensions, but you're already on the other dimension called the other side. So you live there already. That's why when you pass over or die, get killed, you don't change. Everything that you are is already lived on that other side. You just don't have the physical body and the five senses dealing with the three-dimensional part of our world. So nothing's changed. If a person robs a store, kills the teller, and is a nasty person and runs out into the street and gets run over by a car and dies right there on the spot, he just doesn't have a physical body. He's still the same person. He's not changed a bit. You don't get angelic. You don't get sweet. You don't get anything but what you are right now when you pass. That's why it's important to realize that when you're dealing in a psychic fashion or able to see forces on this other side, that you realize that you're dealing with people that just don't have a body. And there's some nasty ones on this side with bodies, and when they lose them, they're on what you call the other side without their bodies. And they're just as nasty. They can come and do just nasty, ornery things. I have many times walked by a low-level bar. I call it that because it's not a high-class anything. It's just where people go to really just get drunk and sob in their beer. And it's filled with a lot of alcoholics on some of these low-level bars that I'm speaking of. Not all of them. There's some really good ones out there, but these. And I've watched these spirits just flock into there that were alcoholics and drunks when they had bodies, and they lost their bodies, but they can't drink anymore. So the only way they can get that kind of energy is with someone else who has a body and is drinking or drugging. And so they hang around them to get that feel and that attitude and that kind of thinking going, because they can't do it themselves. They don't have a body. The same thing is with a sweet person. If someone is sweet and kind on this side, as you call it, with a physical body, and they lose that body, they're same thing on the other side. They don't get sweeter. They get just what they are here. They are there. There's no difference. It's important to realize that, because if somebody, let's call them the mischievous ones. I don't like evil because it denotes the devil, and there is no single devil. Though there's some people that are nasty enough I've met with bodies that you'd call them the devil, and I've met entities on the other side without bodies that were just as nasty or even nastier. And you'd certainly call them the devil if you found one. But there is no single devil. They're just nasty people on the other side, as you call it. And you deal with them the same ways you would deal with them on this side. If you sense one of them around, And a good person, sensitive, and with some intuition, can kind of sniff them out. They just, I don't mean they have an odor, but they have an aura about, not an aura, because that's a misnomer here. They don't feel good because you are good and they're not, and they don't match, and so it doesn't feel good to you. You want to send them away, you do exactly the same thing as if they were trying to enter your house and they came in and you wanted them out of your house. What do? You say, leave the house. Get out of here. What's your energy when you're doing that? What are you thinking when you're telling somebody to leave your house that you don't like, that must leave your house? What's that energy? Get out of my house. Leave. Don't come back. You're with me no more. And you feel that and you mean that. And your attention's on them, so the energy goes where the attention is, on them. When you meet an entity on the other side that's the same kind of nastiness and they're around you, treat them the same way. Just like if they were physically in your house. No, get out of here. Go away. We don't want you anymore. I don't want you around me. You're not my kind. Beat it. Put your attention towards them, and all that energy will go towards them. The words won't make any difference, but the energy and the meaning behind it does. And focus it upon them, and they will go away. They have to. It's the same thing as pushing them here. Pushing them out of your house when they have physical bodies. That's how you deal with these people. You deal with them in your discerning of whether they're good or bad, the same way you do on this side. If you're pretty good at it on this side of knowing whether someone's telling you the truth or being straight up with you, you can use that same talent to do it with entities on the other side without bodies. Because the same mechanism within you that detected them on this side with bodies was detecting their part on the other side. And the part detecting it is actually, again, on the other side because you live there. So do they. And you can detect those things. Do the same thing with them. Nothing's any different. Don't treat them any differently. Don't fear them. Or it's the same thing on this side. You fear someone, they sense it. Fear disrupts the body system and scatters the chakra system, as it were, your sensory organs, the extra sensories, not extra, everybody has them. But that's what they do, and then they're yours. I mean, you're theirs, I should say. They're going to just have their havoc with you. So you keep yourself calm. You treat them just like you do on this side. You want them out of here, you let the back of your hair raise up and you get yourself an aggressive and you tell them to beat it. Get out of here. Put your attention towards them and they'll go. That'll be it. They'll be gone. That's how you handle the entities that I call simply the mischievous ones. Because that's what they are. They're just mischievous. Some of them are not bad. They're just mischievous. They just want to do the same thing as they were here. That's how you treat them. Also, on the other side, there are those who are of great enlightenment. They have mastered themselves, as you call it. We call it the enlightened ones, the full enlightened ones, not an enlightening person, but one fully enlightened. They've raised the serpent, the kundalini. They've transformed themselves into our next stage of evolution that we're going to do as we work on ourselves. We'll get there and we'll do it too. They did it. They stood where we are, had what we do, and then they conquered all of those issues, and now they went to their next stage. So are we conquering them, and so will we go to that next stage. You treat them just like you would somebody right here. Again, don't treat them differently. Don't look up to them as angels on a high pedestal unless you're prepared to get up on that pedestal with them and sit with them and stand with them and see them as equals. They know more. They have a huge amount more power than we do. But they're not better than us. They are us. They are what we're going to be. They have been what we are. So we're equal in that. And you treat them as equal. Even if you come across one that's in the history books or even the Bible, you come across one of those, Jesus himself, Mary, his mother, his cousin, John the Baptist, any of the ones that they're calling saints, as it were. You treat them just like they're equals. You look it straight on to them and treat them like, I'm as good as you. I'm not as powerful. I don't know as much. I'm not where you stand in our evolutionary stage. But the value of you is equal to the value of them. And don't ever forget that. And if you want to communicate with these enlightened ones more direct, you must approach them this way, because they won't show themselves to you if you see them on a high pedestal and worship them. Because that's not what they want, that's not what they need, and they want us to stand on our own like they did in order to become like them in our next stage of evolution. That's how you handle them. And they're there and they're eager to help, so be aware of this. This is the other side, as they call it, which we already live on. Hope this has helped understand this a bit. We are one in love and light, and so be it.